This week we carried on with the farm cleanup. I took my first trip to Vancouver for work. The Airstream finally showed, and we brought you a new episode of
What Gabe Found on the Farm.
And I'll even share with you one of Dad's secret crepe recipes. So let's get into it. Hello and welcome. My name's Joby, and our family have been on a journey to seek out a more fulfilling life. We sold our much-loved home in the city and moved to a farm on Vancouver Island, where we hope to live a more sustainable existence. It's a huge transition for us, and we know it will have its share of challenges. But we're excited and we're ready for this new chapter in our quest to chase the good life. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing our stories with you. Well, it's 9 o'clock in the morning on I don't even know what day it is. I have no idea what day it is. I'm driving to the ferry. I've got a 10:45 ferry. I did make reservations because the ferries have become an absolute nightmare, not because too many people are trying to cross, because they don't have any staff. So they're having to cancel ferries due to staff shortages. And so this is my first trip to Vancouver since we moved to do business. My company, Little Star Renovations, is based in Vancouver. I do all the sales and marketing, and so I have a couple of appointments. It's been quite an adjustment for me. It will be more so. When we moved, it was Christmas time, and Christmas time is a bit of a slump in our industry. But it's been a bit of an adjustment, bumping people 2 weeks out to meet them, because my plan is to come to Vancouver every 2 weeks to do my meetings with my team face to face and to meet clients. So I got 2 days. I'm going to spend today there, and then tomorrow I got the 6 o'clock ferry back, and hopefully I can get everything done in Vancouver and shoot back to the farm. This is what I miss about Vancouver. It's 12 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock, and the cut is backed up to Lonsdale Quay. It's good to be back. Well, I did my first trip to Vancouver, take care of business, and swiftly came home. The whole experience was interesting, and I gotta say, apart from seeing friends there was nothing that was like, oh, I really miss this. Coming home was a little strange. Just walking into our house, when the lights were all off and everyone was asleep, and it felt, didn't quite feel normal yet. But yeah, got everything done. I actually got done ahead of time, so I just went to the gym there and kind of killed a bit of time before my ferry came. So this morning, I think, I know I'm waiting for the Airstream that has been delayed because of snow and wrong trucks and tow truck drivers not showing up. So I'm hoping that today it actually happens. While I wait, I'm gonna just cleaning up all of the areas that haven't been, like this tree obviously got snapped off in a wind. Looks like a year ago, and slammed on top of this woodshed. It's just been sitting there. I've ordered a couple bins. I got tons of this old steel from old plows. It's actually really beautiful stuff, and I'm tempted to keep some of it, but then I also know that will I actually ever use it? Look at these cool hooks. Could be used for all kinds. It could look really tacky though, but you got to kind of get ruthless with yourself and just realize, like, I'm not going to actually use some of this. I'm just going to move it and move it and move it. So anyway, I'm warming up Rosie, and I'll pull this baby off and chainsaw it up for some firewood for next year. Here's another quick episode of
What Gabe Found on the Farm.
What you find in the shed, Gabe?
A chainsaw.
Chainsaw?
It's electric, yeah.
Are you going to show them how it works? Lean first.
No, because you shove them over first. Pepper. What was I gonna say? I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
Right, we got a bin delivered, and I think the Airstream is on the road. So there it is. Avion Airstream. This one is definitely, exterior-wise, way better shape. This one here has been hack jobbed out. So there's supposed to be a piece of glass there and a piece of glass there. So I got to try and fix that. Scotch tape around the windows. Doesn't that look attractive? Brutal.
Dad, look how ugly this is. Dad, look at this. It's like...
Yeah, no care. Black tape around the back windows.
What have you done?
What have we done? So we got a couple of bins and we're slowly working our way through getting the metal off of the property. Okay. Again, the work was foiled by the rain. It sure does rain in this valley. I mean, I love the rain and all, but it's just been day after day after day. So much rain. It's pouring down now, which means I got to change gears and move into an indoor job. We got this thing, and I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I've been thinking about making it a bit lower. The seating's kind of nice, but these trusses are in okay shape. But if they get left too much longer, they're going to be wrecked. But I think I might shorten it by 8 feet or so, and then make a big, like put gravel on the ground so that these posts aren't sitting in dirt, and then fill the sides in with some nice windows and put tin on the roof. And I think that might make a really nice outdoor prep area, and potentially do some functions and whatnot. So that's the kind of long-term goal maybe, but I got so much garbage to clean up everywhere I look, and this is a good wet weather project. We've got all these old fertilizer bags, and I'm not sure what the kind of trajectory of this farm used to be, because I know that now when we talked to the previous owners, they were fully organic farming. So I don't know if this is okay for organic farming or not, but there's a couple bags left over, and we'll have to see if we can still use it or not. There's just tons and tons of these bags that I've bagged up into little bags which are strewn all over. Little story from the past for me is growing up in England, I was surrounded by sheep farms and cattle farms, and from a young age I used to beg to work on the farms. I used to run up the road when it was harvest time and offer free, never ask for money, unloading these semi-truck trailers full of hay, and I think and constantly was working for farms for peanuts, long hours. I think for me what it was being part of something. There was this common goal that you were working towards. It was a team effort. There was always challenge. I don't know if it was one single thing, but I just loved working and feeling like I was making a difference in a small way. You know, when it's harvest time, you're against the weather. It's a big push, and often they'll work all through the night to get the harvest in before rain comes. So I love that, and I think that's why, you know, a lot of people love being in the forces, in the army, because it's there's camaraderie there, there's brotherhood, there's this common goal. And I remember one of my jobs very early on, about 13 years old, was to deal with fertilizer bags. So there's a huge farm, and they use these small bags for fertilizer, and you can imagine how many bags it would take to fill a hopper. Probably 10 to 15 bags of fertilizer at least, maybe 20, and years had gone by, and they had thousands of these bags lying in this one corner of the farm. And so one of my jobs, and I remember doing it in the rain, was to collect these bags, put them into piles, and then roll the piles and put bale of twine around them and bundle them. And it was a really mind-numbing job, but I remember never feeling bummed out about it. It was just, there's something about a simple task that's very cathartic and almost good for the mind. Like, we live in a world where where we're multitasking all the time. We're texting while we're driving, which we shouldn't be doing. We're talking to the children while being on a computer. Well, all these things. We're always multitasking. We're working out at the gym and listening to a podcast. So our mind is always torn, and a simple task is often quite therapeutic in a way, even though it's physically demanding. And I remember doing this stuff, and days and days and days it took me, and it was just kind of, you know, you looked at the pile of bags that was lying on the ground, and then you looked at the pile that was stacked, and you kind of like, okay, our task is to get this all cleaned up. And it doesn't change anything in the world. It made that corner of the forest of the farm a little bit tidier. But to me, I was always up for these big challenges, like landscaping too, like clearing bush. So anyway, collecting these bags reminded me of that a long time ago. A story from the past. Saturday morning charmed us with a visit from a local hummingbird and reminded me to take it easy. What better way to do that than to cook the kids crepes? After breakfast, it was boots and raincoats on, and time for a family adventure. We have a couple of acres of forest below our property that is completely undeveloped. It was the perfect day to go and explore. So we're kind of walking the land, finally coming down into the forested part of our land, our property. And apparently there's about 3 acres of kind of woodland that you see behind me. But we actually have a whole bunch of neighbors at the back of our property. And the funny thing is, for me, is that I'm like, I see a space like this and I want to put a yurt in the middle or put a cabin. But privacy is key, right? And so I can see, I mean, it is winter now, so the foliage is down, but I can see into the back rooms of the living rooms of all of these neighbors. So why would I want to do that? So yeah, I guess we just kind of have this piece of land that we can wander through, or maybe it's a buffer. It's crazy to think that there's this much land that's kind of not really usable in the sense of creating spaces down here, because we've got neighbors and no one really wants to see the neighbors, right? We want to be privacy. But it might be nice to cut some trails down here eventually. But again, I got to stop jumping ahead of myself. We're only 2 weeks into the second week of being here, and my brain is ticking like crazy. But there's some nice trees here, mostly Douglas firs. And we're so close to the ocean. The ocean is really just over that ridge. I think most of these trees stay pretty low because of the wind that comes off the ocean. They probably harden to it. We'll kind of get into grips with where our property line ends. And who knows, I might be standing on someone else's land. I don't think so though. Next week, Tara and the kids take off to Vancouver. I tackle a project in the basement. I have some serious second thoughts about the Airstream. And yes, we have lots and lots of rain. I also take a few minutes to reflect on how it's been here for the last 3 weeks, the ups and the downs. So we'll look forward to seeing you. Check in next week.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Stop. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. How do you say it? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.
Nailed it.
Finally.